Ngani lang sa 105.1 TMC Tops Media Center. Okay, I think I said my former radio station earlier, but it's 105.1 TMC. Karon, okay? That's where you can find me, Jiggy Juice, the former Jiggy Jr. of Y101 now at 105.1 TMC. It's Jiggy Juice to you now, all right? So these are the headlines atong gi-summarize. Karong adlaw, karong buntaga. Muna yung mga headlines atong mga tagsa-tagsa ka mga pamantalaan, mga news outfits, news websites, and newspapers all over the country. Starting with GMA News. These are the headlines karong adlaw, March 27, 2025. Imported rice SRP or MSRP. That's the standard resale price or suggested retail price, I should say, at 45 pesos per kilo, I should say, beginning March 31, according to the Department of Agriculture. And Metro Pacific's dairy unit eyes 10 million liters of milk by 2027. The prosecution discloses to ICC that the defense counsel evidence against Duterte. And Escudero rejects House motion to issue summons to Sara Duterte amid session breakup. And signature drive for Duterte to return to the Philippines has been launched. And Marcos reiterates NTF ELCAC has to continue, according to the NSC. And Escudero, LEDAC meeting eyed after midterm elections. And Bongo and Erwin Tulfo, front runners in the SWS March senatorial survey. PNP to deploy more cops in the BARMM ahead of the May 2025 elections. These are the latest headlines atong mga newspapers and news outlets all over the country. Let's go to ABS-CBN News. Palace tells parents to immunize their children amid spike in measles cases. Sus, kapuyar bagyo ng measles. And Palace backs Agricultural Department's call to let NFA hike rice volume purchases to influence the market prices. And traffic tensions as Manibela pickets DOTR office on day 3 of the transport strike. And EDSA southbound rehab may start in April, according to the DOTR. And NBI to coordinate with the Interpol for fake news, I should say. And the prosecutors meeting in small groups to focus on assigned VP offense. And group challenges election law before SC over unregulated premature campaigning. And Comelec malls placing Maguindanao del Norte town under its control and laments death of election officer. And finally, China poses biggest military threat to U.S. according to Intel reports. These are the latest headlines atong mga newspapers and news outlets all over the country. Let's go to Inquirer.net. Mayor Abby Binay warns businesses versus misrepresenting nature of operations. And Razon buys golf course and luxury hotel in South Africa. And crime rate down by 18.4% in the first quarter of the year, according to the PNP. Wow, that's a huge dip. Down by 18.4% in the first quarter of this year. According to the PNP, De La Rosa still has 4 security personnel, and Gabriela party list files red tagging complaint versus NTF ELCAC or LCAC. The DILG recognizes Ombudsman's suspension order versus Marikina mayor and others. And AFP remains united amid political tensions after the Duterte arrest. And Cardema addresses petition versus Duterte Youth Party lists registration. And South Korea wildfires leave at least 19 dead. These are the latest headlines atong mga taksa-taksa ka mga news outlets. Sa Philippine Star, the Philippine peso closed at 57 pesos and 69 centavos against the US dollar yesterday, March 26. And according to the NGCP, over 10,000 megawatt grid capacity is now available. And according to the SWS survey, 9 Marcos bets stay in the Magic 12 after Duterte arrest, but Bongo surges ahead. And according to the DepEd, they recover 65 million pesos from schools in voucher program. And ICC discloses 181 items of evidence to Duterte's team in crimes against humanity case. And municipal election officer husband killed in Maguindanao del Norte ambush. These are the latest headlines. Let's go to Philippine News Agency. We're summarizing the news headlines for you. So, dili na mo kinanglan babasa sa tanan ng newspaper. Kung ganahan lang mo mupili lang sa mga headlines ang ganahan yung basahon siguro, mas maayos siguro. Anyways, most of these are really beyond your pay grade and beyond your influence or beyond your control, unless, of course, you're listening to us as a government official, a government employee, perhaps. According to the Philippine News Agency, Ilocos region achieves more than 90% tuberculosis treatment success rate. And Senate to tackle priority bills, impeachment when Congress resumes. A Supreme Court affirms conviction of ex-Laguna Mayor E.R. Ejercito and the BGMP Dasmariñas City to build modern jail facilities. No threat on former President Duterte's birthday on March 28, according to NSC executive. And Bucor foils PDL visitors try to smuggle contraband. An inclusion of 280 insurgency-free villages as new PDP, that's new BDP recipients okayed. And 254 Reds neutralized from Jan 1 to March 20, according to the AFP. And 6 foreigners nabbed for alleged spying ops in Subic. And the NPA now leaderless, down to 1 weekend guerrilla front, according to the NSC. And Bago City boosts local food security as top rice producer in Negros Occidental. And top wanted NPA rebel arrested in Surigao del Sur. Let's go to Manila Bulletin. Dole reminds employers of wage rules for the April holidays. And Bayan Muna welcomes Supreme Court's move to strike out SSS requirement for OFWs. And the Department of Health chief didn't violate any law imposing photos with tobacco execs, according to the palace. And Pangilinan hopeful of farmers to gain more as LGUs keen on directly buying their produce. Honey-let Kitty arrive in The Hague ahead of President Rodrigo Duterte's 80th birthday. And 2 Filipino cadets graduate from Japan's National Defense Academy. And don't drag OFWs into the current political rift, according to Magsino. And AFP urges Filipinos to vote. Best way for our voices to be heard, of course, is to vote. And 3.4 million pesos worth of shabu seized as 6 drug suspects nabbed in Bacoor by bust. These are the latest headlines ato ang mga newspapers. Let's go to Manila Times. Cagayan reports over 500 dengue cases in the first quarter of the year and plan to light up Mayon next. And Alianza in talks with liberal parties Pangilinan and Aquino. And Philippine Navy eyes control of 2 islands for military reservations. and Manila addressing legal case of 64 million pesos worth of senior citizen funds, and 7 are fired as the Bureau of Immigration urges ranks of, or rather purges ranks of scalawags. And 176 distressed Filipinos return from Myanmar, and Negros LGUs ask national government for additional funds, and Bicol and Zamboanga workers' pay are being hiked. So those are the latest headlines ato ang mga national news outlets, newspapers, and news websites. Now let's go to our local news. Ato ang Super B Balita. Commander sa NPA Mitahan and libreng serbisyo infra project gihisgutan sa SOCA. Napuno ang Hoops Dome, Barangay Gunob, Lapu-Lapu City niadtong hapon sa Miyerkules, Marso 26, atol sa padangat ni Lapu-Lapu City Mayor Joward Ahong Chan sa iyang katapusang State of the City Address or SOCA sa iyang ikaduhang termino. So let's go to Sunstar. Ano sa headlines ato sa Sunstar Cebu? Karong adlaw, Marso 27, probe government lapses on condo fire safety. A Canadian national... Okay. These are the latest headlines, mga kagilaan sa atong mga local news outlets for today. Okay, March 27. I'm summarizing all of the headlines so you don't have to. A Canadian national has been asked, or rather has asked the NBI Region 7 to probe alleged mismanagement of a condominium in Barangay Camputao, Cebu City, citing violations of fire safety regulations, among others. George Nathaniel Hancock, a unit owner at Winland Tower Condominium Corp., is asking NBI to investigate alleged fire code violations, criminal negligence, and possible collusion among the Bureau of Fire Protection, Winland Towers, and the Office of the Building Official. Hancock raised concerns after the BFP 7 confirmed that Winland Towers has not been issued any fire safety inspection certificate. In a letter dated January 9 of this year provided to Sunstar Cebu by Hancock, the BFP 7 informed the foreign national that the condominium has pending compliance with the Fire Bureau's requirements originally between October 28 until January 24 of this year. Superintendent Reynaldo Enoch of the BFP 7 acknowledged in the letter that no fire safety inspection certificates had been issued to Winland Towers. He also assured Hancock that the agency would conduct another inspection. Instead of waiting for the latest inspection result, Hancock filed a complaint against Enoch with the BFP National Headquarters Office of Internal Affairs Office over alleged misconduct. However, the agency said his complaint could be dismissed unless he complied with the format prescribed by the 2017 rules on administrative cases in the civil service. He refused, citing concerns over possible forum shopping, which is the practice of selecting a court on jurisdiction perceived to offer the most favorable outcome for a legal case. Hancock had already filed a complaint with the Office of the Ombudsman and is waiting for its response. So those are the latest headlines. A brief summary of all of the headlines atong mga national and news headlines. So you don't have to read all of them. We're trying to compress them for all of you. So you don't have to read all of it. Okay, that's Top of the Morning News Bites for today, March 27, 2025, Thursday. Atong takna karon 50 minutos ng milabay sa alas 9 These are a bunch of guys who are coming to town very soon. Cup of Joe. They'll be here in Cebu very soon this Saturday at the IEC from your official radio station 105.1 TMC.